Prasad asked some questions about the bhavana of certain vidhis in the Hanuman puja, and I suggested that we all talk about it together because we all do the puja. We might as well understand the bhavana, and by that I mean the feeling and the understanding and the intuitive experience and what you're going to grok from this practice. Why are we doing this? And what do we hope to get for it? And so everybody who couldn't come inside today, and if you're sitting outside, namaste. And please, if you have any questions, you can log on to the chat, or you can send Boo-Boo an email, and he'll look at his email from time to time. So let's start with questions, and then we can, we've done the whole puja all together online, and we made classes out of it. We pronounced every mantra, we defined every mantra, we talked about every mantra. I don't know what your questions are, so let's start with that.
One of the first questions I was very general, almost like Puja 101, right?
Yes.
I guess, I didn't grow up doing a lot of puja like that, but now I started doing it, I feel compelled to do it. But I, at the same time, like, I sometimes, why am I doing puja, right? That's fundamental. Because I could be, if I have a devotion, I could be sitting and just chanting kirtan, right? Just kind of with that. But I'm doing puja, like, what is like the most fundamental question. Why we do puja?
Okay, there's 7 kinds of siddhanta chara, behavior according to the scriptures. Puja, Pat, Homa, Sangeet, Nrit, Pravachan, and Arpan. Those are the 7. So puja is one of the 7. And it's one of the ways where we guide our awareness into the presence of divinity and avail the privilege of sitting close, upasana, sitting close to that deity until we merge with the deity, and it's so close, it's so intimate. So remember, pu means punya, the highest merit. Ja means jata, to give birth. Puja is the actions that give birth to the highest merit, which is the privilege to sit close or sit in the presence of the divinity. Well, that's why we do puja. I just was involved with a new book just came out called The Glass Enclosure, and I recommend it. It was written by a very dear cousin of mine, and it was a psychologist, and talked about hypnotic trance used as a way to remove your attention to the external world and focus on the internal world and make that your exclusive reality to the point, what I call the exclusion of delusion, to the point where you become so submerged in this hypnotic trance that you could sit still in one position for 8 or 10 or more hours at a time, where you use guided imagery or visual imagery in order to guide your awareness into the environment which is most conducive to picturing yourself as the best person you could possibly become and accomplishing that. You choosing your goals based on that kind of criteria. How do you guide your awareness into the presence of the best and put yourself there? And that's what puja does. And his thesis was a little bit different because he's a psychologist and a professor of psychology, and et cetera, et cetera. And they're using it to get in touch with feelings and emotions and try to improve their being, whereas we as sadhus are using it to go beyond the ego and beyond the attachments of the ego until we go beyond duality. And then there's only unity. And remember, in our thesis, it's dharana, dhyana, samadhi. It's the old 3-2-1. Bhavana, bhav samadhi, savikalpa samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi. So that's what we're doing with this puja. Our intention, hopefully, now everybody will do puja for their own reasons. But we as sadhus are using it as a tool to use this this guided meditation into the visual understanding, the perfect imagery, which puts me in the presence of God and puts God in my heart and me in the presence of God, and everything I do other than that is in the service of God. And that makes me free from attachment. It makes me free from delusion. It makes me capable to be efficient in everything I do because I'm doing it because I'm in love. I'm not doing it because I gotta. I'm doing it because I wanna. And if you give up all the burdens and all the responsibilities, and you put down all the obligations, and you pick up the privileges, and you pick up the opportunities, and you look at life as the opportunity to become the best me that I could become. That's why puja. At least for me. Now, as many as there are individuals, so many are there understandings. As many as there are individuals, so many are the ways of proceeding. But there are people, there are sadhus of the three gunas, and there are pujas of the three gunas. So in tamoguna, I will do puja to destroy my enemies. And in rajaguna, I'm going to do puja to win the most for myself. And in sattva-guna, I'm going to do puja to purify myself until I am worthy of the privilege of sitting in the presence of divinity. And so as many as there are sadhus, so many are there different bhavanas of proceeding to do the puja. Now, I hope that all of our family will want to be on the sattvic path. But you understand, also there are different ways of interpreting sattva, tama, raja, because in tamaguna, if I want to destroy my enemies, I don't want to destroy you. I want to destroy the negativity within me. And that kind of understanding of tamo, that kind of tamasic puja, where I'm trying to destroy my enemies, meaning my ripus, my limitations, kam, krodh, lobh, moh, modh, ish, all of these are opportunities to purify myself. I'm not practicing himsha in order to destroy someone else's negativity. I'm trying to destroy my own. Now, in Rajaguna, I may be a very subtle person in trying to achieve an economic benefit for my community. Obviously, I'm only going to eat 2 chapatis, if that many. Or maybe I can splurge and have 3, but there's going to come a limit. What am I going to do with the rest? I'm going to use that to empower my community, my congregation, my family, my sphere of influence, my responsibilities. I'm going to fulfill those responsibilities. That's rajas, but it's a different kind of rajas. It's not the rajas that says, me, me, me. It's the rajas that says, we, we. En français. Maybe. And sattva is pure sattva, and it can be stul, shukshma, karan, sharir, but it is purity, it is truth, it is knowledge, it is light, it is illumination, it is inspiration. Now, in this understanding, we're each going to do the puja for our own purposes. But your intention is what defines the quality of your motivation. What do I want to get from this? Why am I doing this? Am I doing it for me, or am I doing it for thee? This will understand what kind of punya you give birth to when you perform pu and jat, puja. Okay? That's why puja. And you'll answer for yourselves every time you sit down. And it may be on Monday you sit down, you say, gee, I'm so tamasic today, I'm just sleeping it off from the weekend. and I'm going to do puja because I have to, or because Swami said to, or because Sri Ma gave me put a bell in my hand and put the flowers over there, and I gotta do the puja. Or if you may say, gee, today is Tuesday and I'm filled with inspiration. I can see my goal. I can see my path. I get moving with the clarity. And I'm going to do this puja because I want to achieve my... And it's different every time you sit down. It's different. You've got a different mind, a different bhav, a different intention, a different attention, a different span of attention. Maybe you had 2 glasses of water yesterday, you'll only sit for 2 hours today. Maybe you had a half a glass of water yesterday, you'll sit for 8 hours tomorrow. You have to build up to it and put your body into that harmony and your breath into that harmony and your thoughts into that harmony, and then you get to do the puja, which is appropriate for that situation. So there's time, place, circumstance, all of it. You'll define the puja according to your intention. What do you hope to gain? What's your goal? I'll walk into somebody's house and I see a puja shelf. I mean, every god and goddess of every sampradaya is there, and there's a Shiva, and there's a Lakshmi, and there's a Saraswati, and there's a Hanuman, and there's a Ganesh. Hey, whose puja shall I do? I can tell the bhavana of the people that I'm visiting, what kind of puja I should perform in their house. Look at their knees. Are they sitting in an asana, or are they flopping around like the wings of a bird? And if they can't sit still, then you're not going to do a 10-hour puja. You're going to do a half-hour, 20-minute puja. And if they have health problems, you'll probably do Shiva's puja or Kali's puja. And if they have money problems, you'll probably do Lakshmi's puja or Ganesha's puja. And if they have legal problems, you'll probably do Durga's puja or Shiva's puja or Bhuvaneshwari or any Bagalamukhi. If they have, according to the circumstances, that's how you're going to direct the puja. As you define your intention, you will naturally assume that state of attention. And that's where you're going to focus your energy. I hope that answers why puja. So many reasons. But for us, for Devi Mandir sadhus, for the priests and priestesses of the Devi Mandir, I hope that our intention is to put ourselves on the lap of Vishnu and stay there. Put ourselves in the presence of God and be with her. I hope that's why we're doing it. We're not doing it to get famous. We're not doing it to get rich. We're not doing it to get rid of our enemies. I mean, pretty much we're just hanging out in a warehouse in Yuba City. We're not going to have any of those effects from doing this kind of puja. We're doing puja for purification and to achieve perfection. And our first step will be to achieve asana siddhi. We want to have the perfection of the sitting in an asana. Sit still. And then we can do upasana. Upa-asana iti upasana. Upasana means worship. But literally it means sitting near. And the Upanishads came from the upasana, because the guru used to sit under the tree at the Vedhi, and all the disciples would sit in a circle, and the guru would give a discourse on why to worship, and how to focus your attention, and how to sit still. You start from the outside, and then you move more subtle, and more subtle, and more subtle, until you move inside, and that's when Upasana gives birth to the Upanishads. Because when you go inside, you realize that divinity sitting inside, you can explain, you understand. So there's mantra, yantra, and tantra. And mantra, the intuitive experience. And yantra is the explanation, the intellectual understanding. What was that intuitive experience about? And how will it affect my life? That's what the Upanishads are. And Tantra is the practical application. How do you sit? How do you breathe? How do you pronounce? How do you understand? What does it mean? How do I change my life because of having this association? I came into this association looking for some inspiration to change myself, to make myself better, because I'm not satisfied yet. So we came into this association hoping to grow, because there are two choices. You'll either keep growing or you'll decay. And if you're lucky, there's a little plateau of stagnation in between. But the reality is, if you're not growing, you're out. You're done. You're either stagnating or decaying. So I want to keep growing as long as I can. So I seek out the association of true seekers, of sadhus, of rishis, of munis, of all the kinds of intelligent people that can give me one akshar, one letter of one mantra, of one tattva, of one principle that will change my life. That's why puja. I found somebody who gave me that example, and she said, I became what I became because I do puja. And I said to myself, self, I like what she became, so I think I'll do what she did. And that's why puja. Another reason. Yes, please.
We have a question from Ashish.
Yes, namaste, Ashish.
How should one view and relate to puja offerings, water, flowers, to get in sync with the intent?
Namaste, Ashish. Every article that we offer is defined by the mantra. So when we offer the water in Gangecha Jamuna Chiva, all the rivers, all the holy rivers, all the five senses, they are all flowing into the sea, the ocean of being. And every time I offer the water, I'm offering Varuna is the Lord of equilibrium. I'm putting myself into the equilibrium and the harmony and the balance. All the five senses are flowing like water. They're bringing to me the balance and equilibrium of all creation, all perception. All my senses are in harmony, and they're delighted. And every other article that we offer, the pushpa, is exuding fragrance, and it's got beauty, and it's just the emblem of my love and respect for the person I love the most. And I want to offer that. When I love somebody, I want to give them something I like, something beautiful that will be pleasing to them. And the flower is the same. The greatest example is the mirror, Darpanang Bimalam Ramyang Shuddha Bimba Padayakam. That mirror gives the purest reflection of the perfect me that I could possibly become. And therefore, Arpayami Sureshwari. Therefore, I'm showing to you the best me that I could possibly become is in the mirror. Look at yourself. Look at your reflection. That's my goal. So, Ashish, every one of the articles is defined by the mantra with which we offer that article. And when we understand what the mantra is saying, and we're actually offering what it's not the article, it's the bhavana. And that's why we offer in the way that we do. And the more articles, the more opportunities we have to demonstrate the sincerity of our love. I'm learning more about you and more of the things that you like and more ways to express my love for you. So that's why we make the puja longer and stronger and brighter and more definitive, and that's what it means to us as we go through the puja and perform.
Yeah, another question, like the part about the establishment of life, that's something I just want like to talk more about.
Sure.
What exactly the significance? That's one place that I kind of feel a little bit more, I don't know, just kind of nervous.
Oh, no,
There's
no.
something about it.
You are Brahma, you are Vishnu, you are the Deva Maheshwara, you are the one who establishes life. And you're going to take those inanimate objects and take the prana out of your heart and put it into the object and make it dance and make it alive. And so it's no longer a clay statue, it's an emblem of God. It's no longer a pot with a coconut on. It's a very happy coconut in a pot full of bhavana. It's got all the consciousness of the universe and all the devas and all the danavas and all the forces of positive and negative energy are churning the pot with dharma, adharma, habir dvitva. Atmana manase shrucha. My atma is offering to my mon. That's the hobby. Aham eva aham mon. I alone am the reality. Juhomi swaha. I make that offering. Swaha. That's the yajna. The positive and the negative, the shuras and the ashuras, they're all turning, making the butter, making the ghee, making this life. And now I can't disparage any experience. I'm not leaning towards the positive. I'm not leaning towards the negative. I am the witness, and I maintain the balance. So now here I am. Ong ngang ring rong yang rong long wong shang sung sung among the omiking ring cling chamunda maybe take prana ia prana. You are the life of this life. And I'm putting you in my heart and I'm breathing my prana, my life force, my breath, my energy into you. Become alive. And each one of these letters stands for the bij of a varga. And all the vargas, there's ka varga and cha varga and ja varga, and the way we learn Sanskrit alphabets in groups. There's, what do they call it, palatals and gutturals and labials and there are different vargas of letters, different groupings of letters. You are established in this life. And you are established in this life, and this life is established in your life, and you tell me which is the reality and which is the reflection. Ong ring rong yang rong wong wong shang sung sung among so mi kim rik kling chamunda deviche sarve indriyani. You are all these indriyas, das indriya, panch karma indriya, panch gyan indriya. You are the 5 organs of knowledge, the 5 organs of action. You are all movement in this universe. You are all knowledge in this universe. Om ang ring rong yang rong long wong shang shang sung among so om ring ring kling chamunda gibiche bong manus pachok tatsrut pragrana prana giha gat yang sukang chirang dishtantu swaha. You are this mind, you are this mon, you're all vibrations of the bhag, manas, twachotru, srotra, gana, prana. You are the ears and eyes and the nose and the skin and the life force. Ihagach, ihatishta. Jabo twang pujaishami. For so long as I worship you, Tabo twang chustira baba. So long you sit still. Don't go away, Mom. As long as I can stay here, you stay here for sure. And if you stay there, then maybe you'll keep me here and you'll let me stay a little longer. Now I'm making pran pratishtha. This is the form of my life. This is the true reality of my consciousness. And I take that life and I take it and put it on a flower, and I put it in my heart, and I put it in the murti, and I take it from the murti and I put it on a flower, and I put it in my heart, and I put it in a pot. I close it with a coconut. You see the happy coconuts all around the temple. How happy the coconuts are. And I take it out of the coconut, I put it on a flower, I put it in my heart, and I put it in the Hanuman Class, and you are in the fire. And I take it out of the fire and I put it in my heart, and pretty soon I can put it wherever I want it. Because I know what that prana is, and I just put it on a flower and I just give it to anyone I want to give it to. And I take it back and I put it on a flower and I put it back in my heart, and I can just move it wherever I want. It gives me control of my awareness. I'm training myself to be aware of the prana. And then I do prana pratishtha, the establishment of life. I'm moving the life force. It's mine. I have control. I'm Shaktiman. I'm Yajnapati. I have the control over that Shakti, over that Yajna, over that union. That prana is my prana. So that's how the prana pratishtha works. It is nothing to fear. It's something to rejoice in. And then I sing the song to every form of divinity that has my prana. I put it on the yantra, I put it in the fire, I put it in the pot, I put it in the deity, I put it on every deity, and I tell them, Asmi Pran Pratishtantu, and therefore, thus I have established the life force. And I filled all the rivers came into the pot, and all the consciousness and all the senses and the gods and the goddesses and the devas and the demons and the shuras and the shuras and the... Everybody is in that pot. In fact, it's just like wherever we establish the cosmic altar, anyone who's anybody in heaven wants to come and be part of it. Even if it's a warehouse in Yuba City. They all want to come. Because there's a prana, there's a bhavana, there's a feeling inside this worship that doesn't exist outside. And in order to get that understanding, to get that feeling, to get the taste of that bhavana, that feeling, that energy, you have to be with people who've got it. It's the only way it's passed down is from guru to disciple. And disciples become gurus. And it goes down through the lineage. And that's the only way it travels. Because you can read about falling in love. And you read all the magazines about what it means to fall in love, and how do you have a good love affair, and how do you keep it alive, and how do you keep it rich, and how do you... But until you don't have that experience, you just don't know what it means. You can't get it from a book. You have to get it from the experience of that love affair that you yourself personally experience. Yes, please.
Namaste, Swami. One time I was in India listening to a brahmachari give a satsang about the Bhagavad Gita, and he said that one of the dangers of puja is becoming arrogant. So, there's been concern about going further down the road of puja over the last many years since hearing that talk, and maybe for me that's why compost and trash sorting is so appealing, because I'm afraid of becoming arrogant by doing puja.
You're already arrogant. Don't worry about it. That's no issue whatsoever. The arrogance to say, I'm not going to worship God because I'll become arrogant. That's pretty arrogant right there. You're thinking about me. And I is thinking about I. And ego is thinking about ego. And you'll never get rid of the ego if you're thinking about, I'm not going to do puja because I'll become arrogant. That's silly. Puja means surrendering. Puja means offering your love. Puja doesn't mean, oh, look at me, I'm the biggest sadhu on the block. That's not puja. And that's not even a serious consideration. The serious consideration is, how can I love you so much I forget about me? That's really the consideration. How do I love you so much that I forget about me? And not even think, what do I want, or what are my attachments, or what are my desires and my goals. Just think about, how can I love you so totally? Because you're my divinity. I want to pay attention to you because I'm in love with you. And when I love you, I pay attention. And when I learn from you, I pay attention. And when I respect you, I pay more attention. When I worship you, I pay attention to the exclusion of delusion. I give up the duality. Yes, please.
This question is in a way connected to Srinath's, and that is, if Hanuman's the king of devotion, what can you learn from Hanuman about surrender, if that is really the goal of puja?
Look at his devotion, how it manifested through his efficiency in every action. And he didn't presuppose that he was going to tell Ram how to do it. He just said, Ram, what do you want done, and how do you want me to do it? And he became a tool in the hands of his divinity. He came to Ram with every transaction and said, Ram, I'm going to do this transaction on your behalf now. Is that appropriate or not? And if yes, how do you want it done? I'm going to go find Sita. Is it okay with you if I jump across the ocean? I'm not going to take your place, and I'm not going to kill Ravan myself, even though I'm totally empowered to do so. I'm not going to take your place. I'm not going to take Sita by the hand and put her on my back and fly across the ocean and save her myself. That's your job. You just told me, you gave me the mandate to find her and come back and report to you where she is. The rest is up to you. Now that was surrender. And remember, in Sanskrit, surrender is samarpan. 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 It could be tyag as another form of surrender, but samarpan is I offer myself in equilibrium. Whereas in English, surrender is hands up, I got my back to the wall, I got a gun to my head, there's no place I can go, there's nowhere to retreat. And that's the last thing I'm going to do, I surrender. And in Sanskrit, samarpan is the goal of all of our worship. To offer myself in equilibrium, I'm in perfect balance. You make the call, it's your decision. I'm just the tool, you are the craftsman. I am the car, you are the driver. We sing the songs, let's walk the walk when we talk the talk. Remember, there are 3 phases to doing all this Sanskrit study that we are doing. There are 3 steps. First is to be able to say it. And the second is to be able to understand it. And the third is to be able to live it. And to act in accordance. And it's not just enough that I'm able to say it. That makes arrogant people. And look at me. I can't read Devanagari, and I don't know the meaning of one word that I'm saying, but look how fast I can say it. Whether you can understand or not is not my criteria. Look at me. I'm the pujari. That's how puja can give birth to arrogance, if you're only in it for the glory. But if you're really doing puja and availing the opportunity and the privilege to sit in the presence of your divinity, then that puja is going beyond mouthing the words. it's going beyond intellectually understanding what I'm saying. It's actually going to teach us how to live that way. And that's when it becomes really valuable. We make changes in our lives because of having this experience. It's not about being the best mantra barker or auctioneer voice or it's not about saying it fast, and it's about understanding what you're saying and why you're saying it and what you hope to get for doing it. Then you're not arrogant. There's no question of arrogance. Arrogance comes if you're superficial and you just want to show others. That's not what we're doing. We're not doing this to show people. We're doing it to show me how I could change myself to a different lifestyle, a different life work. Yes, please, Bob.
I wanted to know the effectiveness of doing the Mansik puja versus the puja that when we use all these ingredients to offer to the divine being. Because what I've noticed is that when I'm doing flowers or anything, sometimes it will distract me because I'm trying to feel the divine energy within me manifesting, like whether it's Shiva or Kali or Lakshmi or whoever. So
Don't worry about it. Do it outside first. When you have it memorized, when you can picture every flower is going there, then you don't need just all the flowers. Then you take them out of your heart. But you got to do it for a while first. And then you can do the puja and know where every flower is going and see them right there as you put them out there and understand why they're put in that order and understand where you're going with it and how it's changing you. So you learn it outside, and then slowly, slowly you can come inside. And Manas Puja will take over on its own. You don't have to I'm going to do Manas Puja now. It just takes over on its own. It becomes the natural evolution of your worship. You worship outside, and then it gets softer and softer. When you're far away and I want to call you, come. I have to call loudly and sometimes forcibly and say, Bobik, come. But when you're so close, I can just look into your eyes and we're sitting so intimately. You know the sincerity and the truth and the veracity of what's being said. It just touches you, even if it's silent, even if it's soft. And sometimes you sit on Walden Pond and look at the nature and cease to be. As Thoreau put it. Sometimes you look into the eyes of your beloved and you see her seeing you, looking at her. And you forget who is looking at whom. Your heart knows what it says. So start out and become proficient at doing the puja outside. And then slowly, slowly, of its own accord, it'll get softer and softer as God comes closer and closer. Yes, please,
Can
Tanya.
you talk a little bit about Sita's bhavana toward Ram?
Sure. I keep coming back to the beautiful shlok in the Lalita Trishati as Shiva and Shakti revolve around each other mutually and reciprocally. And I believe that Shiva was so much, Ram was so much in love with Sita, as Sita had no existence apart from Ram. And he was just as dependent upon her as she was upon him. And it was mutual and it was reciprocal. It was the two heads of the same coin, the two sides of the same coin. And they without the other side, neither could exist. And I believe that's what Ram and Sita experienced in their life.
And that's a goal of a marriage and a relationship.
Of every relationship, even every partnership. We're looking for the yin and the yang and the Shiva and the Shakti and the inspiration and the energy and the flow and the consciousness to all merge together in every partnership, in everything we do, especially in a life partner. Especially. We want to continually reinforce that understanding. So everything Sita will do will say, Ram, you are divine. The only way he can maintain his divinity is by acknowledging Sita is his Shakti. He is divine because he lives with the mother of the universe. He's not divine on his own. She didn't do it without him. And he didn't do it without her. They did it together. And that's what made Ram and Sita, Sita Ram. Do you have other questions about the puja?
No, I do several, like, go on.
We have a little bit more
A little more
time.
Another question I would have is more like, there's very clearly specified actions with different mantras and stuff like that.
Yes.
And how much of it is, like, how closely do we follow? Like, there's certain times you use the bell and sometimes no. All these, there's some of them
You,
flexible.
if you want to be a shish, you will follow the example of the guru.
It's a
A shish is a mirror.
Oh, mirror, okay.
A shish is a mirror.
Yeah.
A shish is a mirror, and it means a disciple. Somebody who reflects entirely the example of the guru is a shish. A mirror, reflection, a perfect reflection of what the guru is doing. So you watch her, you feel her, you keep your fingers on the pulse, you get her vibration, you get her bhavana, you get her intention, you grok it. And you'll do it the way she did it. And then when you become the guru, you'll make your own modifications. If I give the same book to 10 different sadhus, I'll come back in a year and I'll find 10 different pujas. There's no way that you're going to do my puja. You can while I'm sitting there watching you. But when I give it to 10 different people, I'll come back in a short period of time and they'll 10 versions of the same puja. Look at the puja today. I don't know where he got that design. I made a special map. And my map has a story, and I'm telling, it makes a yantra, and the yantra tells how I make the journey, and that yantra points to another yantra, and that tells how I made another journey, and it goes step by step. I don't know what this puja is telling me. It's nice, it's pretty, it's beautiful, and maybe the pujari can tell me the story of what puja was, but I don't know. It looks nice. But it doesn't tell me the story that I told in the book. But I don't say you can't do it that way. You do it, it's your love affair. You love any way you want to love. I'm not going to tell you what you do in your love affair. You have a love affair with God. Why should I intervene? I can tell you what I did in my love affair with God. I can show you how I put my flowers. I can tell you the story of my map and my yantra and my journey. And if you want to follow that, that's fine. And if you don't want to follow that, you're not required to. I gave you the flowers. I gave you the space. I gave you the asan. I gave you the bell. If you want to ring it, ring it. I stopped ringing the bell some years ago. I got too many complaints that the metallic sound in the microphones on the webcams, it breaks people's eardrums. So I used to be a great bell ringer. You ask the old timers, I could ring the bell for hours and hours. We did a RT in Howrah one day, and we started about 6 o'clock at night. We ended at 4 o'clock the next morning. I was still ringing the bell, and I used big bells. Isn't that true, Mama? But people, I got some emails that said, "Oh God, could you stop that ringing?" Yeah, the sound of the bell in the microphone is just too much.
But the bells, it actually implies vibrations.
It
That's
communicates a
like
vibration, it creates a vibration. Can you create a vibration within yourself that's even more powerful than the bell? You don't need the tool if you can.
Not yet.
But you will be able to.
Yeah.
You will create your own vibration. And you won't need the bell. The bell will be a reflection of a religious ceremony. It's used in a ritual. Well, there comes a point when you go beyond the rituals and beyond organized religion, and this becomes a spiritual experience. And the outer accoutrements fall away. They just drop off. They're not required. They're required if you're the administrator of a religious organization performing ceremonies and on behalf of the congregation.
Swamiji, bölümde kaç bel kadar vardı sonuçta duality.
Sir, ligache.
Yeah.
And I agree, that is true. When you are starting out and you need all these different props and all these different tools with which to make your offerings, the bell is a great tool. It provides a continuous vibration, a continuous ringing. All the Asuras grab their ears. They can't stand to listen to it. They run for the exits.
Right.
But when you're getting quieter and more inside, and the puja is your spiritual expression instead of a religious duty, then the bell isn't necessary. The flowers aren't necessary. The modu park and the new sari and the gold ornaments and the conch shell ornaments and the flower mall, it's not necessary. You just reach into the garden of delight and pluck the flowers and put them there. And I can see how I built the yantra from the flowers from the garden of delight in my heart.
You reach there.
I did, and I'm teaching people how I reached there. I reached there by using all the tools.
Yeah. You did. Therefore you can talk, but we are not.
But that's right.
Yeah, we are not.
But we can be.
We
We can
have a
go in
hope
that
to go
direction.
That further. We have a hope to go that further.
We have a hope to take you.
But you cannot make a game.
Oh, no, not a game. Not a game. It's not. It's very serious. It's a serious love affair.
Exactly.
Yeah. And I want to use every tool at my disposal to say to you, I love you. And if you like listening to the bell, well, I'll ring it. But everybody outside, please forgive me if I ring the bell and it comes in the microphone and you have to hold your ears and you can't hear any mantras because there's a metallic sound. You know what it sounds like. It's kind of icky. Yes, please.
Namaste, Swami. If one performs puja every day consistently for 3 years with attention, devotion, and love, can one destroy all attachments to I and mine?
You could do it if you perform puja one time with attention and love. You can do it. So the king came to the Brahmin's ashram. He saw the rishi's son was in the ashram. He said, I need to see the rishi. The son said, my father is out in meditation. I am the son of the rishi. Tell me what your problem is and how can I help you? The king said, it's a major problem and I think I have to talk to the rishi. The son said, well, tell me anyway and let me even attempt to give you a solution to your problem. King said, I am the king of the nation and the commander of the armies. And my nation has been at war for many times, and as the commander of the armies, I have slain people, I've killed people, I've looted, I've burned, I've plundered, I've pillaged, and I've done all these heinous crimes and sins. What can I do to be free from sin. And the young boy said, King, that's a very easy resolution we have. Go home and say the name of Ram twice. King said, what do you mean, kid? I was the commander of the army, and I killed and I plundered and I pillaged and I looted and I burned and I did all these things. All I have to do is say the name of Ram twice. Rishi Putra, the kid, said, yes, King, that's just what you have to do. King was delighted. He bowed down to the Rishi's son, and he went back to his kingdom. Father came home in the evening, said, what happened in the ashram today? Any visitors? Yes, Father, a king came. What did he want? He said, I was the king of the nation and the commander of the armies, and I was head of in war. I took my nation to war, and we killed and we plundered and we pillaged and we looted and we burned and we did all these heinous crimes. Father said, what did you tell him? I said, go home and say the name of Ram twice. Father hit him on the head. Said, crazy kid. You could have told them to say it once. Yeah, just do it one time with full attention, with pure love, with pure devotion. And then you won't want to do too much else. Other questions? We have 1 minute left. Om Sam Saraswati Namaha. Namaste. Thank you, everybody, for joining. We're going to put the copy of this tape. I imagine it just stays there on YouTube as it is. So if anybody had any questions about the Hanuman Puja or about puja in general, certainly tune in. Otherwise, send us an email and ask your questions. When we get enough questions, we'll have another gossip session.
Thank you, Changi.
Namaste.